welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and it's just me today. It is just me. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, oh no, is this another Deep Blue Sea commentary where Mark thinks that he can record an entire commentary by himself? I could literally hear him sweating while talking about Deep Blue Sea, but he still somehow posted it because he did it and he didn't want to waste his time, and everyone had to listen to it. And it's actually done pretty well, and I haven't gotten too many negative complaints about it, but I'm still stressed out about recording that commentary, and I did that about 3 years ago. So this isn't another one of those. This is just me wanting to kind of give a year in review for Movies, Films, and Flicks, the podcast. Also, I just want to say thank you for listening. I mean, according to Listen Notes, there's 3.7 million podcasts, and we're in the top 2.5%, so thank you so much for that. But yeah, I just want to, there's so many podcasts out there, so many, you have very little free time, but yet you choose to listen to the Movies, Films, and Flicks podcast, and that, it's an honor. And so I just want to say thank you for that. I don't do that often enough. And I mean, yeah, I mean, you listen to, I mean, how many times have you heard about Kurt Russell since 2015? I mean, are you a Kurt Russell expert now? Send me a message, let me know. But I just wanted to give just a fun breakdown of 2021, let you know what was the most popular episodes on the podcast, break down the year in films, and just, yeah, banter for 20 minutes, all in a way of, I don't know, saying thank you, and just kind of letting you know how Movies, Films, and Flicks, the podcast, is doing. But what's funny about this year, 2021, the most popular episode that we released was for Willy's Wonderland, the Nick Cage starring film in which he is tricked into being a janitor inside a closed down Chuck E. Cheese-esque restaurant. Unbeknownst to him, though, he's supposed to be sacrificed to evil animatronic puppets. What these evil animatronic puppets and the townsfolk don't know is that they hired the wrong man and put him in the wrong ringer t-shirt, and he just demolishes these evil animatronic puppets while drinking an energy drink, playing pinball, dancing, and engaging in a beautiful bathroom fight. But yeah, that was the most popular episode, and I mean, you listened to it, so thank you, but I also want to thank David Cross. He and I are both the huge Nick Cage fans. He suggested it to me, so we got on it super early. So David Cross of the Award Wieners Movie Review Podcast, thank you so much for that idea, because people really liked the Willy's Wonderland episode. It's a funky movie. It's actually pretty good, and I mean, it's part of an excellent year that Nicolas Cage had. I mean, with Pig, and then with Prisoners of the Ghostland, which, it's a weird year when a movie that features one of Nicolas Cage's testicles exploding doesn't get a lot of press. Any other year, I feel like that'd be big news, but his work in Pig is so excellent that I guess people just didn't talk about it. I still boggles my mind. All right. The second most popular episode of 2021 is A Knight's Tale. Then it's Mission Impossible Fallout, Last Action Hero, and we had a three-way tie for fifth place between My Best Friend's Wedding, In the Mouth of Madness, and Never Back Down, which Never Back Down blows my mind because not many people talk about it, but yet so many people listen to the episode. It was fun to watch. And I mean, in a year of big blockbusters, right, of the MCU, of the Suicide Squad, all these films, I like that you, the Movies, Films, Flicks audience, are listening to Willy's Wonderland, Last Action Hero. I mean, most of this list, 3 of the movies in this list are from the 90s. And only 2 are from this decade. So I really appreciate that you embrace the funky episodes, the random episodes. And I think it's pretty cool that we ended up with, like, bookending my list. The most listened to episodes are Willy's Wonderland and Never Back Down, which, Florida-based MMA, Cam Gigante, A+ villain, Jaimin Hunsu training people. It's a fun episode. So if you get bored, go back and listen to these things. They're a lot of fun. Enjoy those. And then I also wanted to kind of do some movie recommendations for you. Johnny Numb is a good friend of the pod. He's been on the show many times. Sometimes he hosts the Last Knock podcast by himself. So if he can do it, and I survived the Deep Blue Sea commentary, I just thought, hey, I can do this again. And I can maybe recommend some cool 2021 films that you might have missed. Go in depth about them. Now, I know we've done the horror awards and we've done the random awards, but we didn't go in depth too much. And I'm not going to spend much time on these, but I'm going to let you know my 10 favorite movies of the year. And they go like this. So, number 10, Benedetta. It was directed by Paul Verhoeven. Basically, I mean, it's like what happens when Verhoeven's given complete creative control. It's funny, dramatic, totally committed to achieving a singular vision. The cast is game, and you can just tell that they trusted Verhoeven to make something unique and memorable. It's not for everyone. I saw it on some worst lists of the year, and I also saw it on Rolling Stone's #1 of the year. So people love it or hate it. Also, it kind of ties into movies, films, and flicks because the most popular movies, films, and flicks episode ever is Total Recall. And that's a Verhoeven movie. And one of our more popular episodes last year was Starship Troopers. So I think Paul Verhoeven has this way of combining the art house with the broad appeal. I mean, Starship Troopers, you have the fascism and all the death. So, I mean, you could be a cinephile and love it. You can be an action hound and love it. And with Benedetta, the poster is definitely meant to incite some controversy as, it shows a nun, well, naked nun, for lack of a better term. But when you get down to the movie, it has a lot to say. It's funny, it's sneaky, and it's really good. #9 for me is Bergman Island. So Mia Hansen-Løve just directed a really excellent film that, about these filmmakers going back and just going to Ingmar Bergman's island where he grew up to kind of get inspiration for their screenplays. And I think in the movie, Mia Wasikowska gives one of the most alive, dramatic, interesting, open performances of the year. Like, it won't win awards, but I would love to see this movie get more love because it's challenging and it's different and it's funky. And my wife Megan, who's on the show a lot, she came in and was watching it for a little bit, and then we had to take a break, but then she's like, I really want to finish that movie because it draws you in. And it features a great jellyfish attack or jellyfish fight. Thank you, Aaron Newworth from We Live Entertainment and Out Now with Aaron and Abe. That excellent podcast. So that's #9. #8 is Dune. I mean, Denis Villeneuve, I've never said wow more times while watching a film. I know a lot of people didn't like the ending, how it ends rather abruptly. But the main complaint of the first Dune in '84 that David Lynch directed is that they put in too much. So I think some people were expecting a full narrative. But the thing is, you can't say there's going to be a sequel because it's $175 million. The studio gambled on making this. So I don't see how they could just order another $175 million film. So you make this movie, you hope it succeeds, and boy, did it. I mean, it's almost close to 400 million worldwide it's grossed. And it's just full on beautiful wow moments. So that's why Dune is #8. #7 is the Celine Sciamma directed Petite Maman. Now, it's just absolutely delightful. It's about, man, geez, should I even spoil this? All right, if you're into just really precocious French children and just excellent pancake flips and warm science fiction, just nice science fiction, I really recommend this movie when it comes out. You should definitely check it out. And then there's The Worst Person in the World. I mean, if you're looking for a film that puts a brilliant spin on the romantic comedy, you need to watch The Worst Person in the World. It's definitely like a romance dramedy. It's not the traditional Matthew McConaughey Fool's Gold or When Harry Met Sally type romantic comedy, but it's just alive and different and it's smart and there's so many good conversations in it. So give The Worst Person in the World a chance when that comes out. My 5th favorite of the year is The Suicide Squad. I just haven't been able to not quote this movie. I mean, James Gunn has directed an excellent $200 million budgeted film. I always just go Weasel. I mean, best belly flop of the year definitely goes to Weasel. But it's just a movie that all the performances are live and the action is good and even the villain is sympathetic. I think that there are some fights that tell stories. I mean, it's a movie where everything is carefully crafted. It features likable characters, and it's one of those movies where when someone dies, you feel it. I mean, how many times you watch a movie and like, well, we need a death for people to feel things. Well, you feel things in The Suicide Squad. Trust me on that. Excellent film. #4 is Undine or Undine, depending on how you pronounce it. It's different in these movies, but it's just an excellent film. Christian Petzold, who also directed Phoenix, which is one of my favorite movies, he has just put a sensitive and thoughtful spin on mythology. I mean, it's another solid film. It just features an award-winning performance from Paula Beer. She won the Silver Bear for Best Actress at the 70th Berlin International Film Festival. It's a very sensitive romance that also features some neat kind of mythology, some science fiction, a little bit of monsters, some sea creatures. I mean, I'm big into underwater welding, so that makes me happy there's some of that. but it's just a movie where I wish if you read the synopsis, you think, oh, dang, like, this is going to get crazy. It's like Little Mermaid meets Taken, but it's not that at all. It's just a super sensitive, really neat love story. And I just think Paula Beer crushes it. And you should watch it and then go back and watch Phoenix. And then every time you see Nina Haas after that, just say, hey, that's Phoenix's Nina Haas, because that's what I do. Number 3, my third favorite of the year, right? The big hitters right now. We're going to talk about Pig. So the Michael Sarnowski directed Pig. I mean, it's a beautiful film that I can't think of the last time I was so engrossed in a movie. It's so neat, and it's almost frustrating because Nicolas Cage is so good in it. He's so restrained, and he's so intelligent, and he's so fierce that, I mean, I've never, like, his relationship with that pig, you buy 100%. And it's just a fantastic movie that, I mean, features probably the best lunch scene of 2021. And I think Nick Cage, man, everyone's so ready to kind of dogpile on him for, his lesser films. But when he churns out a performance like this, I mean, it helps you remember how excellent of a performer he is. And just the cast all around is solid. It takes you to a world you don't know. And also between the Truffle Hunters and Pig, I mean, truffles are having a great year. So that, if you're a truffle fan, cool. They're having a great year. Number 2, and this was tough, right? And coming up with my top 10 was really hard because I came down with a short list of about 50, and then they kept changing. And so I established my top 10 list by just thinking, what movies do I think about the most? Which movies do I talk about the most? Which movies have given me the most joy? And for me, my top 2 are funky and they're very divisive, but I also think that they are wildly controlled, auteurish, and they really walk a thin line between love and hate. Both these movies could have gone horribly awry, but I think they're really controlled and excellent. So my number 2 is Malignant, directed by James Wan. I read a tweet that said Gabriel from this movie should be Times Person of the Year, and I 100% agree. It's a bonkers movie. I'm not going to give away the twist, but The Ringer, the website, they were breaking down their best shots of 2021, and they featured a shot from Malignant. A beautiful overhead shot. And this is a film where James Wan was given $40. This is a dude who, he made Saw for $1 million. He made Insidious for $1.5 million. This is a guy who can stretch budgets. So $40 million in his hands is like $100 million in any other director's hand. And that $40 million, he just stretches it. And it's just a beautiful, bonkers, lovely film that features a gorgeous chair throw. And we covered this movie called We Summon the Darkness on the podcast. Maddie Hassan is in that. She's really good in this movie. There's just a lot of surprises, and just roll with it. It's the way it is. It's on purpose. The tone is on purpose. It's exactly the way it wants to be. And that's a credit to Juan. Next, my favorite movie of the year, you're going to think I'm insane, is the Josh Greenbaum directed Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar. I know people who hate this movie. I've had people message me and be like, you're stupid. I watched this and you're stupid. I will never listen to your reviews again. I was like, okay, thanks, Mom. But no, I'm joking. It's so many people, you just have to get on this movie's wavelength. And now I clearly understand why people don't like it, but it's so defined. And the tone, it never winks at you. This could be a movie that just falls apart with just being too self-satisfied. But I mean, Kristen Wiig and Annie Mumolo they're so perfect in this role. Also, Jamie Dornan, his song number, Egger's Prayer. Also, between that and Everlasting Love, he's a great singing year in film, which is kind of cool. Also, I like Wild Mountain Thyme. I really don't care. Like, I think it's funny Christopher Walken's accent in it. An Irish Walken, which is beautiful. But also Emily Blunt and Dornan on screen. I dug it. It's weird. Maybe that's why I liked it. But for me, I mean, there's, how much I love jet skis. There's jet skis in Barb and Star. There's talking crabs, voiced by Morgan Freeman. There's just drug use. There's a lot of sex. There's a lot of violence. It's just, man, it's R-rated. I think, is it R-rated? I'm not even sure. I kind of think it's R-rated, but then someone told me it was PG-13. I don't know. But it is, you listen to the commentary, you watch the behind the scenes footage of this movie.